Tens of thousands of Australian families will sign contracts for a Japanese SUV this year, and most of them will spend more time comparing paint colors than asking whether the badge they're buying will still have a dealer network or a transmission that works in 5 years. Owner forums, recall databases, reliability surveys covering hundreds of thousands of vehicles, and real-world data from Australian buyers reveal that the Japanese SUV segment in 2026 is not the monolith the badge implies. Some of these vehicles represent the most dependable family transport money can buy at this price point. Others represent a specifically modern kind of ownership regret, one that never announces itself on a test drive. 7 Japanese SUVs, ranked. 3 to walk away from. 4 worth serious consideration. Starting with the one most quietly disappointing Australians right now. If this kind of research is useful to you, subscribe. We do this for every major segment, every year, using real data rather than press fleet impressions. Number 7. The Nissan X-Trail petrol CVT variants. There are 2 versions of the X-Trail in Australian showrooms. One is the e-Power, Nissan's clever range extender hybrid that drives entirely on electric motors and genuinely impresses reviewers. That version we'll come back to. The version we're starting with is the one most Australians buy, the 2.5-litre petrol with the CVT sitting at the entry end of the range. The problem isn't just this generation. It's the documented decade-long history behind the technology. Nissan's CVT has been the subject of class action lawsuits in multiple markets, NHTSA safety investigations into sudden CVT failure in Pathfinders, and extended warranty programs that Nissan issued quietly rather than through formal recall. When a manufacturer extends a powertrain warranty without a recall, that's the company acknowledging a problem while hoping buyers don't connect the dots. The current X-Trail CVT is a refined version of that unit. Owner forums for this generation report fewer catastrophic failures than the worst years. But improved is different from resolved. And then there's the bigger picture. In July 2026, Nissan issued a recall affecting 13,795 Australian X-Trail e-Power vehicles for a battery controller software fault that could cause complete loss of motive power while driving. The petrol CVT is a separate system, but the pattern of reactive rather than proactive engineering runs through both. One owner, who spent $52,758 on a flagship X-Trail in 2025, discovered 5 months later that Nissan had launched the MY26 model with full connected car, services that the previous variant didn't have, and that this was never disclosed at point of sale. Every competitor at this price point offers seamless OTA updates as standard, he wrote. Nissan had no idea how to help. The X-Trail petrol CVT starts at $38,140. For that money, you can start a very different conversation with Toyota, Honda, or Mazda. The data says you should. Number 6. The Mazda CX-9 used models. The CX-9 is no longer sold new in Australia. Mazda replaced it with the CX-90, but used examples are everywhere right now, and some of them are traps buyers won't see coming. The CX-9's central issue is structural. The older 3.7-liter V6 that powered earlier models carries 2 documented critical failures. The first is timing chain stretch, a $1,500 to $3,500 repair, with over 2,400 owner reports in reliability databases. The second is more serious. The water pump and coolant crossover pipe components buried inside the engine can fail catastrophically at under 100,000 kilometers. One owner described a car running perfectly, no warning lights, no noise. And then within 2 minutes, it was finished, done at 99,000 kilometers. The CX-9 sits below average in Mazda's own reliability rankings. The replacement model, the CX-90, has written its own chapter of regret. Forum posts document hybrid battery failure in PHEV variants under 20,000 kilometers. Owners describe dealers who were, in their own words, clueless about diagnosing a car they'd just sold. One buyer said the car needed beta testing before it reached customers. Another traded in a car they loved, a 2021 CX-9 for the CX-90 PHEV, and described regretting it from day 2. If you're considering a used CX-9, the safer window is the 2017 to 2021 turbocharged 2.5-liter 4-cylinder models. The V6 era is the one to walk away from. Number 5. The Nissan Pathfinder. The Pathfinder's pitch is straightforward. A 7-seat SUV with Nissan's heritage name at a price that undercuts the Prado. The problem is that Nissan's CVT has tracked the Pathfinder for 3 generations, and the current model has only partially resolved it. Earlier versions, particularly 2013 through 2016, became the defining CVT failure case study in the Australian market. Class actions were filed. Multiple transmissions were replaced in the same vehicle. Owners reported sudden stops, violent jerking on acceleration, and complete loss of forward motion. NHTSA investigations specifically examined Pathfinders losing all propulsion at highway speed. Nissan issued software bulletins that didn't fix the problem, then extended warranties quietly, on a case-by-case basis, without formal recall. The 5th-generation Pathfinder, which replaced the CVT with a 9-speed conventional automatic from 2022, is a meaningfully better vehicle on paper, and the 2025 Pathfinder does sit above average in Consumer Reports reliability data for its year. But above average, in a segment where Toyota RAV4 and Mazda CX-5 consistently earn top-tier ratings, is still a compromised position for a family vehicle. The Pathfinder's case for your money depends heavily on price. If the numbers genuinely justify the trade-offs versus a well-priced used RAV4, it warrants consideration. But if you're comparing it dollar for dollar against current Japanese competition, the data doesn't make the Pathfinder's job easy. Now, after 3 entries built on CVT history, structural engine failures, and questions about long-term brand support, the story changes. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the right time. The next 4 entries actually answer the question most people came here to ask. Number 4. The Subaru Outback. Subaru's reputation in Australia is built on symmetrical, all-wheel drive, and one of the most loyal ownership communities in the market. The Outback earns both, but every prospective buyer needs to understand one piece of history before they sign. The head gasket failures in 2.5-liter Outbacks from 2001 to approximately 2010 were real. A significant portion of some model years showed failure before 100,000 miles. The CVT issues that followed in 2015 and 2016 were real, with replacements costing $6,000 to $8,000. The Outback Forum's standing advice to new buyers is still a single sentence: assume nothing. The 6th-generation Outback, what you'll find new or recent used in 2026, is a different story. Consumer Reports predicted the 2025 Outback to be more reliable than the average new car. The CVT complaint rate on the current generation is significantly lower than either previous generation at the same point in its life cycle. The EyeSight driver assistance system has a documented phantom braking concern on 2023 to 2026 models worth knowing about, but it's a calibration issue rather than a structural one. For families who need genuine all-wheel drive, don't want a luxury badge, and value a vehicle that performs on unsealed Australian roads that most mid-size SUVs avoid, the current Outback is a legitimate choice. The 5-year powertrain warranty covers the CVT, and the Outback ownership community remains one of the most genuinely useful diagnostic networks in Australian motoring. The honest caveat: Consumer Reports' 2026 prediction for the newest model year has dropped to about average. That's one to watch. Number 3. The Mazda CX-5. The CX-5's reliability record is not complicated. AutoGuide's 2026 rankings gave it S tier, the same as the RAV4 Hybrid, the top classification. Consumer Reports scored the previous generation at 84 out of 100, the highest in segment. JD Power rates it at 82. The reason is straightforward: a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine paired with a 6-speed torque converter automatic. Not a dual clutch, not a CVT. A proven, conventional unit that any Mazda dealer in Australia can service without specialist equipment. The third generation CX-5 launched in mid-2026, bigger, quieter, more refined, starting from $39,990 before, on roads with all-wheel drive standard, across every variant. That last point matters. Most competitors charge extra for AWD. Mazda includes it from the base grade, which is a genuine value advantage and a rarity in the segment. Now, for the honest conversation. The 2026 CX-5 launched without a hybrid. In 2026, that is a meaningful omission. The RAV4 is hybrid only. The CR-V now offers 4 hybrid variants. Launching a petrol-only mid-size SUV at a time when fuel costs and electrification pressure are both at record highs is a gamble buyers absorb at the pump. The hybrid arrives in 2027. For buyers who need low running costs now, that gap matters. Consumer Reports also flagged that the new all-touchscreen interior, which replaced nearly all physical controls, introduces reliability risk that redesigned infotainment systems have historically carried, risk that doesn't surface in the first 6 months of ownership. The CX-5 is the benchmark for powertrain reliability in its class. The missing hybrid is the only reason it doesn't sit higher on this list. Number 2. The Honda CR-V Hybrid. Honda's approach to the CR-V has always been engineering before theater. In 2026, the CR-V expanded its Australian hybrid lineup from 1 variant to 4, including all-wheel drive options, starting under $50,000 for the first time at exactly the moment the competition intensified. Consumer Reports expects the 2026 CR-V Hybrid to be more reliable than the average new car, based on 3 years of accumulated data from this generation. Current generation CR-V hybrids are holding their value well above the segment average in resale markets. In real-world Australian testing, reviewers recorded fuel consumption below 6.3 litres per 100 kilometres on rural roads under active driving. Honda's 2.0-litre Atkinson cycle hybrid system, paired with an AWD setup that genuinely improves traction without meaningfully hurting efficiency, has produced consistent results across a broad range of conditions. Where the CR-V finishes second is a specific gap: no PHEV for Australia. The plug-in hybrid CR-V exists internationally. Honda has confirmed it's not coming here. In 2026, when Toyota is offering the RAV4 PHEV from $58,840, and buyers are actively asking how to reduce fuel dependence, that absence costs Honda customers it would otherwise keep. Some reviewers have also noted the 9.0-inch infotainment screen looks dated against the wider panels now becoming standard in the class. But here is what the CR-V Hybrid offers that no specification sheet captures: cohesion. 3 years into this generation, the relationship between the hybrid system, the AWD, and the cabin refinement feels designed to work together rather than assembled. For buyers who want proven Japanese hybrid reliability without paying Toyota's elevated 2026 pricing, the CR-V Hybrid makes a compelling case. And then, the vehicle that has built the strongest, most consistent case in this entire segment. Number 1. The Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. In 2024, the RAV4 found more than 1 million new homes globally, reclaiming the title of world's best-selling car from the Tesla Model Y. Locally, over 51,000 were delivered in 2025, making it Australia's best-selling SUV, narrowly edging out its stablemate, the Hilux. In 2026, Toyota launched the 6th-generation RAV4 as hybrid only across the entire Australian lineup. The company's own vice president of sales described its safety systems as the best we've ever had. The 5th-generation hybrid system, Toyota's most refined iteration of a technology it has been developing since 1997, delivers real-world fuel consumption consistently below 5 liters per 100 kilometers for drivers who use electric mode through urban traffic. Toyota hybrid batteries are documented to exceed 200,000 miles with proper maintenance. In Consumer Reports' owner satisfaction survey, The RAV4 plug-in hybrid finished at the top of the compact SUV segment. The model owners said they'd choose again if they restarted the decision from scratch. Toyota's national dealer and service network is the largest and most geographically distributed of any brand in Australia. For regional buyers who worry about parts and service access, no Japanese brand comes close to what Toyota has built over 3 decades. The weaknesses deserve honesty. Price rises of up to 13% across the 2026 range pushed the entry GX Hybrid to $45,990 before on roads significantly above competitors who start well, below $40,000. The 2026 model launched without a confirmed 5-star ANCAP rating under the updated 2025 protocols, which Toyota publicly acknowledged. And the redesigned infotainment carries the early adoption risk that any new platform introduces. But here is what no competitor in this segment can currently replicate: a hybrid powertrain proven across millions of global units, resale value that Toyota Australia carefully manages as a strategic advantage, and service infrastructure that genuinely reaches beyond the capital cities. The RAV4 Hybrid is not the cheapest entry in this segment. It is the one most supported by what actually happens after you drive it off the lot. Across all 7 entries, one truth holds. The margin between the best and worst in this category is not visible from a test drive or a spec sheet. It shows up in whether your transmission software update at 30,000 kilometers actually fixed the issue, in whether a technician in your town knows what they're looking at, in whether the brand that sold you the vehicle still has a dealer within reasonable distance in 5 years, or is one of the names already struggling to justify its presence in a market that is consolidating fast. In 2026, the data to make that call has never been more available, and now you have it. If this video helped, subscribe. We cover every major segment the same way.